It is time to start thinking about fall fragrances, and I have here 5 fragrances that have stood the test of time. These are all under $50, and they happen to be scents that I've had for at least a year in my collection, and I continuously go back and reach for. These are different from the fragrances that I've recently just discovered, and there have been some amazing ones this year so far. But for this video specifically, I wanted to show you the fragrances that have really stood the test of time for me. I've had each of these fragrances for at least a year, some for multiple years, and consecutively I reach for these perfumes. They're affordable, they're amazing. I've gifted a few of them to some friends and they really do love them. So if you're interested in essentially some of my top 5 fragrances that have stood the test of time, then keep on watching. But if this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love perfumes and I talk about them here every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. So if you're interested, do consider subscribing. I have like a little bit of a story associated with so many of these fragrances, but let me first start off with one that I definitely think is a little bit of a fail-safe. I think several of these fragrances would be great options for like back to school, like a work-safe fragrance, because many of these are really comforting, and I'm going to be telling you about the ones that are a little bit more unique that you might want to be a little bit more careful with. But this one is a straightforward one that I think would be a great option to gift someone. It's a pretty blind buy safe fragrance, and that is Lattafa's Nibras. This is the fragrance right here. I love this bottle. It's one of the most beautiful Middle Eastern perfume bottles in my collection. It's like this gold and black. It's very va-va-voom. I love it. This is a gorgeous vanilla, red berry, sugary scent. It's very gourmand. If you love sugary gourmand perfumes, this is it. It's gorgeous. It's been a fragrance that I've had in my collection for I think a year and a half. I think I first heard about this perfume when I was watching a South African content creator, and she was obsessed with this fragrance, and at the time it was actually very difficult to find here in the US, and as soon as I found it, I bought it, and it was so good. Like, it became viral actually a little bit after that. So this fragrance definitely still has a presence online. People still talk about it. I think it's not the most unique fragrance in the world, but if you're looking for something that's just really delicious and gourmand and beautiful, this is definitely it. It smells kind of similar to the Billie Eilish perfume, the first one, but I actually like this one better because you can definitely smell the red berries here. That one is very much focused on the vanilla. What I like about this is that you can smell the red berries, and there's a more realistic cocoa chocolate situation taking place with this perfume. So I actually think this one is far better. And I love it. So this is like your perfect gourmand perfume. I've had it for years and I still recommend it because it is that good. Okay, so we talked about a perfume that was very easy to wear. I think if you're a gourmand lover, you're not going to have any issues with that. This next perfume is, I don't want to say polarizing. You kind of have to know what you're getting into when you're getting into this fragrance, and keep in mind it's, I think, one of my favorite fragrances in my collection so far, and I still reserve it for cooler weather, for those days when I really want a strong perfume. And this is Lattafa's Bad Al Oud Amethyst. So Oud for glory, amethyst. This is an iconic fragrance, and look at the bottle. I love this. This remains one of my favorite bottles of all time. It is stunning. This is essentially a pink pepper rose beautiful fragrance. It is amazing. So this has a lot of similarities to Atomic Rose by Initio. And if you don't want to pay Initio money, this is a really good alternative. And dare I say, this might sound controversial, but you know how much I love my bottle designs. This bottle is prettier to me than the Initio bottles. And the Initios cost like hundreds of dollars, and this costs like 20, 30 at the very most. And they also have a black one that's for the original Oud for Glory. That one I really like as well, and I've actually gifted it to 1 or 2 people. My friend wears it, and he gets compliments on it everywhere he goes. He's actually saving it for special occasions only, but I'm telling him to wear it all the times he wants. But he gets compliments on that from literal strangers, and this is essentially like the more feminine version. It's the one that I like. I don't see the need for me to have both personally because they have kind of like a similar DNA to them. This one is just more feminine. It's less focused on the patchouli, I think, and it's more on like the jammy rose. But all in all, this is a perfume that I definitely recommend if you're just looking for a stronger fragrance for the fall time. This will last you. A little bit goes a long way, but you have to know what you're getting into. This is not your light, fluffy rose. This is a powerhouse. And I will say this, I kind of like, okay, unpopular opinion, possibly. I like Inicio. There are a few fragrances from them that I genuinely would like to have one day, but I look at this bottle, and this bottle I've had for a while. I've had this for, I think, at least two, probably closer to 3 years, and I've worn it obviously. This bottle looks good, like it feels nice. There's gold plating here. The box feels really good as well. It's a nice display, and it just feels lovely. And literally, I was telling you about my friend. I took my friend to a high-end perfume boutique, and I gave him the Inicio Oud for Greatness. And I was like, this is what your fragrance is supposed to smell like. He literally liked his own one better, and he also couldn't understand why his looked so much better than the Inicio bottles. And I'm not trying to nag on Inicio in this video. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, to be honest. But I just feel like if you're going to spend a certain amount of money on a fragrance, the bottle should look good. And the reason why I like so many of these Middle Eastern perfumes is if the bottle looks good, it looks good. There have been some newer ones that look horrendous. Don't get me wrong, but this one looks good. Nebras looks good. These are nice and they don't cost a lot of money. So yeah, Oud for Glory, Amethyst, you should definitely try it out if you haven't already. By the way, all these fragrances are going to be linked down below in order of appearance. So if you're interested, you can go shop them on those links. So yeah, Bara Oud. This one is really, really fantastic. And I actually do think this can be worn by a man as well. If you want something a little bit more traditionally masculine, try the black one. The black bottle I actually like a lot better. I like the contrast, but this one's really good as well. And this one is the one that I chose to wear. So there you go. This is Afnan Souvenir Floral Bouquet. This is, gosh, this is beautiful. It's like a sharper, less fruity version of Delina. It's kind of like in between Delina and Delina Exclusive. So it has like that sharp lychee and like the rhubarb qualities. I'm realizing a lot of the fragrances here are going to be similar to other perfumes. There's actually one that I think is completely unique in my opinion. And that's not to say that I'm an advocate or I'm an adversary to getting dupes. I actually don't search for dupes when I'm creating, when I'm trying to go for fragrances for the most part. If I have a scent profile that I really, really love though, and I want to find something similar, I will go for that, but I won't necessarily go for something just because it's a dupe. But to be honest, look, we all have different budgets. We all have different preferences. Sometimes it's just more economical to go for a fragrance that's let's just say under $50 rather than a fragrance that's hundreds of dollars. Also, a lot of these fragrances, or a lot of the, like this for example, Delina and Delina Exclusive, I've already spoken about this before on the channel, but everyone already has those fragrances. Those fragrances still do cost a lot of money and everyone has their opinion on them. So I would rather spend that money on a fragrance that a lot of people don't necessarily know about, instead of just going for the fragrance that everyone knows. And if I want to have that scent profile in my collection, I can just go for something like this, something that's a little bit less expensive, but still maintains some good qualities. So yeah, Souvenir Floral Bouquet by Afnan. Honestly, if we're going back to Parfum de Marly, I would rather get Valaya or like the new purple one than get the OG Delina and Delina Exclusive at this stage. I definitely want to get one of them so like at one point, but not at this point. But yeah, Souvenir Floral Bouquet by Afnan. This is beautiful. It has like a nice like gold cap. It's a very unique bottle. I wouldn't call it like my favorite Middle Eastern bottle. It's not like, I think it's a little bit awkward personally. But I've worn this many times. I love it. It's still in my collection for a reason. I really do appreciate this one. And I think if you're looking for something that has a lot of longevity, that's a very this a little bit more traditionally feminine, this is a lovely option to try out. So this is one of the perfumes that I don't really think smells like any fragrance I have encountered, and I haven't really heard anyone talk about this fragrance smelling similar to anything. So this is one that I do keep in my collection because it's kind of like a fail-safe perfume that I genuinely love to reach for. This is Anna Poudre by Lattafa. It's this gorgeous ambery fragrance, or ambery color at least. It's very vanilla forward, a bit of a powderiness to it. It's like I love this. Yeah, I haven't worn this in a while, but I'm excited to break this out for the fall time. This is like a powdery, like a baby powder, kind of slightly like tonic, soft, spicy perfume. There's cardamom in here, but it's like a sweetness. It's like a peachy vanilla, but no, it's not fruity. It's beautiful. If you want something that's a bit of like a slightly soft, spicy, I don't want to say aromatic because it's not, like a softer, spicier vanilla, but like very soft, spicy, this is beautiful. It's lovely. It's literally a fragrance I've made a considerable dent in. I adore this perfume. It's one of my essentials. I would say this and the other fragrance I'm about to share with you next are two of my most worn powdery fragrances in my collection. I love a good powdery fragrance. I feel like that there's a sense of elegance to it, and this is one that I genuinely do love and appreciate. And I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I think this is like your cuffing season fragrance. This would be like my version of a cuffing season fragrance because it's like vanilla, but it's not like so sugary sweet that it's being obvious. This is beautiful. I really, really love it. They have the original Anya. I'm not a fan of that one, to be honest. I have it in my collection. I feel like it's good to reference because it's like a nice peach. Wait, no, it's a nice pear. It's like this like bright saffron too. I just keep it so I can reference it in videos because I did wear it at one point. I did like it, but on me right now, this is my favorite, my ride or die. I love this perfume, and I do keep going back to it for a reason. It's just like your beautiful, creamy, powdery vanilla without being too sweet and too overt. This is gorgeous. Wait, should I wear it today? Somehow, I forgot to spray on perfume this morning, and I was working from home, so I don't know how that happened. But yeah, Anna Poudre, love it, iconic, very good. Next, we have the most used perfume in this video. I've saved the best for last. You might already recognize this perfume because I talk about it a lot. This is Une Nuit Nomade by Al Haramain. So good. I have used up this much of it. Like, it's literally halfway done. It is another powdery perfume. This one is less focused on it's less focused on the soft spiciness, and it's less baby powdery. Anna Abieth is kind of baby powdery in my opinion. This one is more like a fruity, woody, powdery. This is gorgeous. It is so good. It's easily such like an elegant powdery fragrance. I love it. I'm spraying this one as well. It smells like a cozy cashmere sweater or like velvet. Yeah. And I also really love the combination of Anya Poudre with this one. These two together, two of my biggest dents. Yeah, these are my biggest dents in this video. Together, they're so good. I'm smelling them together on me right now, and it's like cozy and like vanilla-y. If you love vanilla, try these out. And of course, I love Nibras too. Don't get me wrong, Nibras is also very good. But these are like more in keeping with my style right now. I feel like I do love my gourmands, but if I'm going to like reach for a fragrance on a day-to-day basis, I would rather go for fragrances that are like maybe a little bit less literal and more just delicious smelling, you know? But these are iconic to me. I love them. They have been well loved and well used. I think I've had June Noir for 2 years, and I've had this one for roughly the same a period of time. Um, let's see, I've had Souvenir Floral Bouquet, this one for about a year and a half. Yeah. And I've had Baid al Oud. Amethyst. I think it's one of my longest perfumes in my collection. I've had it for 2.5 years. Yeah, I did start collecting perfumes a little bit late in the game. I've always loved perfumes to some degree, but I started really getting into it a little bit later than you might expect, actually. Let me know if you want me to talk more about that. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of like me going down memory lane. I know that sounds like so weird and cliche, but this is like these are the fragrances that I really started getting into when I started loving perfumes. I didn't really have the money to be buying niche fragrances. Yeah, like I mean, I was buying decants and samples and Middle Eastern perfumes. And when I was working in retail, I was using my store discount to buy designer perfumes. And I was trying designer perfumes when I was working my shifts. Like that's how I started getting into fragrances. So these definitely make me feel nostalgic, but I also love that I can still wear these perfumes now that so much has changed, and wear these perfumes and love them and really know that they stood the test of time. These are some good perfumes, and I've tried so many perfumes since then, and these are some that I keep going back to constantly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you want to see more content like this, where I kind of kick it back a little bit old school and talk about things that have been in my collection for a long time, because these have survived many declutters. But yes, thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you next time. Bye.